Hello! So we're back again, and this time quite fast, if I may say so myself. I'm still editing my last review by the time filming of this video, but yeah, this time was quite fast. So today I've got something very special, and that's of course this beautiful Gibson 80s Explorer. So this is quite a rare guitar, and that's basically because of the finish. This is of course the classic white version. There's also a black version of this guitar. That one is not as special because you can buy that everywhere, but this is a Gibson store exclusive, and it's been out for like 2 years, 3 years, something, I think like 22, 23, and it's basically always sold out. I think they also have some issue with making this guitar in this finish or something, but it's really hard to get. So before we get into the specs, let's listen to some nasty James Hetfield riffs. So how do you think it sounded? Personally, I think it sounds pretty damn good, but first let's go through the specs very quickly. So we have a mahogany body with a mahogany neck. That's also where it differs from a original 84 Explorer. It still comes with a rosewood fingerboard, medium jumbo frets, 80s tribute humbuckers, which are specially made for this model and for the 80s V as well. Three-way switch and a slim taper neck, and a 24" and 3/4 scale of course. So how does the guitar feel? It's a pretty expensive guitar, but it doesn't necessarily feel expensive. That's probably because it's a pretty stripped down guitar, so you don't have any fancy binding. I also have this Gibson Explorer Pro. That one feels a lot more expensive and high-end compared to the 80s Explorer. The neck profile is slim, but it's not as slim as that one. Also, I do think that a Gibson 60s Les Paul neck is also just a little bit slimmer. Maybe because this one has just a little bit more shoulders or something. It does actually feel really similar to the Dave Mustaine V that I had. I also did a review on that one, so check it out. But yeah, it's a very similar feeling guitar, and even it sounds pretty similar to the Dave Mustaine V. So how does it sound? Well, it sounds pretty damn good. I really like these pickups. I really like the bridge pickup, is nice and hot. Not as hot as like a Gibson 500T, but still pretty good. The neck is a lot more mellow. I especially like how the lead tones sound on these pickups. And although I really like these pickups, I would still prefer it to come with the EMG 81 set to get that classic James Hetfield Metallica look. So what do I like about this guitar? I love the iconic look. I don't know how it looks on camera, but in real life it's kind of like a old white, almost yellowish white. and it's probably only gonna look better the older it gets. Also, it sounds great and it's actually very lightweight. What I don't like about the guitar, there's quite a few things that I don't really love about this guitar. First off, the frets. I don't know what it is about modern day Gibson, but they apparently choose to use smaller fret wire, which I personally just really don't like, especially for like a guitar like this, which is more like a metal focused guitar, I think, or at least most people want to play Metallica on this. But yeah, the frets are pretty small, and I noticed that's kind of a thing with every Gibson that I've played after like 2020, after the Henry J era. That's also of course a personal preference. Some people wouldn't mind it that much, and also a original 80s Explorer would have pretty small frets as well. So another thing that I don't really like is the position of the switch. It doesn't really make a lot of sense because it goes up and down instead of sideways, like what you would have on like a blade switch on a Stratocaster. So when you're playing and you want to switch, it feels kind of unnatural to do the up and down movement. That's of course not a problem with a Les Paul when the switch is here. You could maybe twist the switch position or whatever, but yeah, that's a little bit annoying. And the neck, it's a good neck profile, but I do prefer a Gibson 60s neck, or the neck that's on my Explorer Pro. So if I have to give it a rating, for the sound I would give it like a 8.5. It's a really good sounding guitar, and I noticed that every modern day Gibson that I played sounds actually pretty good. I've played a lot of modern day Les Pauls and also a few Explorers, and they always sounded great. With that said, I personally would still prefer to put EMGs in here to get that iconic Metallica look, but even with these pickups the guitar just sounds great. If I have to give it an overall rating, it's going to be a little bit low. It's going to be like a 7. The first time I picked this guitar up I didn't really click with it immediately, but I have to say the more I play it, the more I like it. Modern day Gibsons are very consistent in how they sound and feel. Like I said, this one really reminds me of the Dave Mustaine V, but that also makes them a little bit more boring. And I noticed that the 90s and 2000 era Gibsons just have the bigger frets and more the specs that I personally like. But overall, it's a very cool guitar. Is it worth 2,700 bucks? Not really. There's also a Epiphone version coming out very soon, and that one has the EMGs in them, but I think that most people would still prefer the real thing, of course. So that's it for this video. Hopefully you like the recent uploads. It takes quite a lot of time to do these reviews and editing and stuff, so it would really help if you would subscribe. This one is already spoken for, so it's going to be picked up probably this week. But I still have a lot of other cool guitars that I can do reviews on, so please subscribe if you want to see more, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!